usually I'm going to come in really loud.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in super vibey, hyped.
Yeah.
If my response is, hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it. Yeah. I'm going to turn it down immediately. I'm like, how's everything going?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Are you feeling all right?
You got to mirror your client.
Yeah. And then other people are like, yeah, he's here. Shayben. Like it just depends on the person.
Yeah. I am here with Shayben Moussa from Siempre.
That's it.
Weddings, who is a long-time colleague and friend of Wedded Wonderland.
I've known you for a very long time.
Since the absolute beginning. And your journey into weddings has been truly remarkable to watch, I have to say, because I remember you as the guy who always had his camera on him. Before
Still am the guy that always has a camera on.
But, you know, you think about content creators, you think about people who, you know, obviously use their phones, and I knew you before we could take video content on our phones.
Definitely. I met you in 2008, I think.
Yeah.
And when did they...
Showing my age, not your age.
No, look, technically the old Nokias used to film video. It wasn't good video, but they did, so...
With the snakes?
I think so. Not the snake one. There was a camera one. 6210, I think it was called.
You know, you were one of the original content creators in terms of always having that camera around, capturing people at events, and then surprising them sometimes. Like even some of the expos we originally did back in the day, some of the weddings that you originally captured, and now that storytelling, you still have that signature element where there's always someone around with the camera getting those moments.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always developed my business around storytelling.
Yeah.
And timeless photography. That's the whole point of Siempre. Siempre means forever in Spanish. And the idea is that it doesn't age. It doesn't age. Like, it's timeless. The photos are timeless. The colors I use are timeless. And, you know, you can look at a wedding that I shot 10 years ago and you look at the one that I shot today. It's going to look very similar, and it's... The one that's 10 years old is just as good as the one I shot yesterday.
But how do you get the vibe? I wanted to inspire myself with you coming in, so I was on your website and I'm like, there is such a vibe with these couples and the styling elements of the wedding, the entertainment. There's some shots where you're like, what's happening here? Like, I want to be at this party. I want to be at this event.
I have developed my life around wanting to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So if I'm shooting a wedding or if I'm shooting anything, I'm going to try and have the most fun the entire time. The amount of times I hear people say, oh, you know, you never work a day in your life if you enjoy it and all that. It's very true. I've always just wanted to have fun, so I treated every job as if I was just hanging out with friends, even though I've never met them before, or I've never met, you know, every one of the family members and everything, and I just treat them as if they are already my best friends, and they just feel comfortable. And not just me, but you know, I tell that to the team at Siempre, and I always tell them, just have fun. If you're having fun, they're gonna have fun.
But you see it, and that vibe
comes through the imagery, because they're looking at somebody that's smiling at them having fun. So they're going to smile back. So if I'm sitting there behind the camera and I've got a grumpy face, they're going to notice. But you're going to see this behind the camera every time. and I'm going to be running amok. And if somebody says a joke, I'm going to join in.
We had Diane Curry in yesterday, and we were talking about luxury weddings and even the evolution of luxury weddings, going from the visual aesthetics, which of course we still see that, but it's the experience with your service providers, with your vendors, where you feel that experience then come through the wedding and those live activations that you see at weddings, and now those elements where it's about maybe a destination wedding or the storytelling. You know, it's not just walk into a room, yes, there's amazing florals around, sit down, and then, you know, entertainment's at this time and then that's it. It's changed so much.
I think the storytelling side of things is something that is crucial to the imagery. Being able to look back at the images from start to finish it should tell a story.
Yeah.
You should feel, regardless of whether you were at the wedding or not, that you were there.
Yeah.
When you look at the photos.
Yeah.
When you watch the video, you want to get goosebumps.
And are you still doing, like, do you do the pre-wedding like
not as much
photos
anymore.
Yeah, because I was looking at this and I'm like,
that's died down a bit.
Okay.
From when we first started. I feel like people, I think, financially are opting out of that.
Okay.
Just because of the current economy.
Yeah.
They're scaling back a little bit, and I'm not sure if it's just financial or they just don't want to do it. We've always recommended it to be a good experience for them to be photographed before the wedding day.
Yeah.
And understand how it's going to be on the wedding day, so it's not a surprise, because some people are extremely uncomfortable with the camera. But regardless, as long as your photographer is good enough and your videographer is good enough, you make them feel so comfortable on the wedding day anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe that's what they're realizing.
Maybe I feel like now, because we're seeing so much content, they're kind of going, that's
not
fine.
that hard.
I don't need to do the pre-wedding. I'm going to invest my money, and especially when you have these multi-day weddings now, where it's like, I want my photographer around for
the pre-wedding party and the wedding and the after party.
So that's kind of
the recovery party.
The
cocktail event recovery party.
The pool party.
The pizza spectacular party. I reckon you can get about 7 to 8 parties. Everybody wants a party for it. It's the wedding week.
Finding.
Not just the wedding.
Hey, wedded week.
That's what happens.
Yeah, that's it. Name drop.
They want to celebrate for a whole week.
Well, we're calling it the wedding celebration. So for us, the way that we speak to venues and the way that we're actually being able to list them and introduce them to couples through Wedded Wonderland is not just show us your ballroom.
Yeah.
We're like, where can spaces be activated? So if the ceremony is on site.
Have you got a fountain in the front that we can set up an aerialist or a dancer?
That's exactly right. Because this is what couples are looking for. And even getting those photos in between ceremony and reception, they're going, what's around here?
Yeah.
Especially if it's a destination.
Yeah.
How are you meant to know if you're having a wedding in Bali or you're having a wedding in Sorrento? How are you to know where to take photos or what is available to you? The photographer normally is the one that scouts it out.
Yeah.
But the couple wants to know, I've booked in a spot where I'm going to get those shots.
Yeah.
Like, we literally had a bride in here a couple of weeks ago. She's getting married in Lake Como, and she's like, all I can think about is me being on that water and having
the mountains in the background, and maybe a little Vespa
shot. So they're even making decisions on their venues and their locations based on the photos. That shot that they want. It's insane, right? Are you finding that?
Sort of. We're getting more trust in our opinions and what we do.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, which is lovely, we just get, do your thing.
How nice is that?
And I love hearing that. This is what... Just do your thing. I was like, great, I'm going to go crazy. It's better than having a bridesmaid tell me, what do you think of a shot like this? But what if we also did this? Yeah. And then what if we also did that? And then I'm like, well, I mean, can I think for a second?
Yeah.
Let me just get into a creative flow, because if I tell you, let's walk over here, the light's good over there, something I might see as we're walking, actually this is better, and then I might move you that way. Whereas if you're telling me where to go, I'm now thinking about just pleasing you, because you've already told me what you want. So I now need to think about your vision and how I can create your vision, because you've thought of it. But when I hear just do your thing, I'm like, great, let's just start walking. So
creative direction in photography and cinematography is so important, and this is what you're talking about. So the scouting of spaces and places where those shots can take place. Do you do that? Does your team do that? Like, how do you guys go about, particularly when it's a destination wedding?
I mean, you can do your best. You can do your best at scouting and sussing stuff out, but it never looks the same the day after. So you go somewhere at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, and at 4 p.m. on a Wednesday, it looks completely different.
Isn't that crazy?
So you can try, but the best scouting is going to be done then and there.
On the day.
Because what happens if there's a car in the spot that wasn't there yesterday? And what happens if there's a Vespa that just rolled past and now they don't want to move? What happens if you went to a park the day before and there was nobody having a picnic, and then the next one it's somebody's birthday? And there's 50 people there, 6 or 100 people there.
I don't think
like,
of it that. I haven't thought about the dynamic components of that scouting.
That's right.
And so you guys have to be really dynamic on the day.
So many people want the Opera House photos, for example, and you're like, sweet, not a problem.
Yeah.
November 22 next year, we'll go there.
Yeah.
And then you rock up and there's a concert there and you can't even drive there.
Well, I just saw, because when I was looking on your site, so Steph's wedding, Stephanie, and with the red carpet.
She was the first one, in my opinion, I think, that ever went inside the Opera House. She's an architect. And she got proposed to in the Opera House. And that was her favourite building. Yeah. So it makes sense. Yeah. So when she got me to shoot her wedding. There's a story
behind it.
That's why I like it the most, because her wedding, she's like, I've known her for a very long time. I've done stuff for her with her hearing, some videos for her, and we've got a really good connection. Yeah. So on her wedding day, she was the one that said, I'm going to get the Opera House on the inside. And I really don't think anyone had done that back then.
Wow.
And she said straight out, you do it.
Yeah.
Like, you do it. It's all you.
But the photos
and then
are just
when she gave me 100% freedom of creativity, when it was the first time I had ever stepped inside there, my creativity was through the roof, because I've never seen it before. I've never been inside before. And it looked amazing. Yeah. So I was like, great. That's a shot. That's a shot. That's a shot. Oh, look at these red stairs. What if I run upstairs?
It had been planned for months. Looking at those photos.
Every single photo I took was taken.
It's crazy.
And thought of on the spot.
That's crazy.
You can put the photo of the stairs shot, because that was
my shot.
That's one of those photos.
That's the shot.
She said to me, I don't even know. We just walked around, and the lady was tour guiding us around the Opera House, and they said, people, like, these stairs are quite nice. So then we started to take photos on the stairs, and as I'm looking at Steph, I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, I wonder what your dress looks like from above.
Yeah,
and I'm looking. I see the stairs, and I'm like, what if I walk up there? I was like, can you wait 1 second? Like, yeah, sure. So I ran up the stairs and looked down. I was like, wow. That's a shot. I was like,
that was the shot that stood out to me. So there you go. And I think this is what so many brides in particular need to understand, is that creative vision, a lot of it has to come from your photographer and videographer. There are so many elements to be considered. And if you have a particular idea of style, that's how you can pick your photographer. Yeah. But if you have your particular idea of a photos, then that's a different story.
That's a bad way to go about it.
This is the lesson here.
Yeah. Style. Yeah. Give us a glimpse of what you're thinking, what you're picturing. Yeah. That's fine. That's not, I want this photo. Yeah. Because it's
never going to be.
It's not going to be the same. Yeah. It's not going to be the same lighting. Yeah. It's not going to be the same time of day.
Yeah.
And it's also, you're copying. Yeah. I don't like copying. Yeah. I like to create. And then in that situation, I always recommend, do you like our work? Yeah. Have a look at our work. Do you like it? And they go, yes. And I was like, great. Yeah. Let us do it.
So cool. And tell me, so now with social media and how fast things are moving content side, do you have particular offerings where you do have like a turnaround where you can release some shots, quicker, very at least like maybe 5 or 10 shots, so they can share that? And then, like, how does it work right now? Because I know the demand for content is so high for weddings. Yeah. Well,
of course. I mean, anything's available. Yeah. Right. That's in life. You can have whatever you want. Really. Yeah. If you want the images, all of them ready within 24 hours, it can be done.
Yeah, wow.
It can be done. Yeah. Anything can be done. If you want sneak peeks, you can have them. If you want 7-day delivery. Our delivery is 4 to 6 weeks, guaranteed, which is very fast.
That is very fast.
Yeah, so we used to have 3 months guaranteed, and I realised I was punching them all out within 6 weeks, so I'm like, might as well guarantee it. I was back in giving myself a buffer zone, so that way, if anything arose with my other businesses, I'd be able to have the extra time. Yeah. But I mean,
you have a team.
Yeah, we can make it work. 4 to 6 weeks guaranteed. Okay. Anything quicker. Yeah. That's a different conversation.
It all comes down to what the couple's looking for.
Yeah, it depends on what they're willing to pay for. You could probably have it ready by the time they walk out of the reception.
That's crazy.
I could pay 4 editors and have 4 computers running at the back of the reception or in a private room, or, for example, and then as we're shooting throughout the day, we can transfer memory cards, and I can take more memory cards, and then you could get it done.
What do you right now in terms of that turnaround and delivery and expectations? Like, do you basically ensure that that's part of your package offering, or is that something that is based like client by client? Like if someone says, I want everything, I want to be able to release it, then do you have something specific for that? Like, do you have a package available for that, or do you basically customize as you go?
No, that's a very customizable thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's something that particular people want.
Yeah.
You got to serve the masses. You don't serve just that one person.
Yeah, no, of course.
There's no point putting that on your website and promoting that we can do it in 24 hours.
No, that's crazy.
Definitely something that you would have a very particular person that's special, that would want it, and I want it like this, and I don't care what it costs, and I want it now.
I'm going to ask you a question. Controversial.
Nice.
What do you hate about weddings right now? We have all of these trends that we're seeing photographers share about people getting in the way, pulling out their phones, 50 people wanting to direct you. What kind of gets your like, just this is what I'm here to do kind of thing?
That would be one of them that I've already mentioned. It would be people getting in the way of my creative flow, for example. So if I'm trying to line up a shot or I'm trying to figure something out, and they will interject and say, why not this? I want this, or what about this?
Yeah.
But it's still not that bad.
Yeah.
I don't
you can manage
hate it,
that.
you know, like even aunties with the iPads and iPhones in the middle of the aisle. I don't hate it. Like, it's annoying, and I'm annoyed for the client.
Yeah.
But they're not my photos.
Yeah.
So when you tell your guests, please don't use your phones, and none of them listen. Anyway, either you just accept it and realize this is going to happen. They're all going to take photos. Like, for example, I shot a wedding on the weekend. And the entry to the reception, I was getting ready to shoot the entry, and there was probably about 100 people lining up near the doors of the entry, and every single person had their phone recording, ready to capture them entering the reception. So I honestly don't think there was maybe 10 people that actually saw it with their eyes. They saw it through the screen. That's the truth.
But that's the reality
when I looked around,
of
I was like, there's no one here looking at the doors.
They're looking at their phone, looking at the door.
Looking at the door. So, like, and they didn't even take their eye off. Some of them were recording via the native camera app, which is the best way to record if you really want to. Some of them were inside Snapchat. Some of them were inside Instagram, which deteriorates the quality anyway. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
It's really not. I get it. I understand why it's happening. You want to share it on social media. You want to share your experience
and you want to keep that moment maybe, but then like be in the moment, then keep the moment. Like, I feel like it's a thing.
It's hard. It's a very hard thing.
I know.
That is the way life is. If you go to any concert, you can see the whole crowd has got their phones out. If you go to anything that happens that's interesting on the street, you see people phones out. It's just, it is what it is. It's the
nature of it. So from your perspective, it's happening. We can't
can't change it.
Stop it. We just have to work around it.
You're ruining the experience for them because that's what they want to do. So if you tell them put your phone away, they're going, look at this guy telling me what to do. So then you're just pissing them off.
And
you might as well not piss them off. And what you should say is, sorry, can you just shuffle right a little bit because you're right in the middle. Or just like, just a little bit. Thank you. Yeah, keep going. You can record. Just don't get in my way. That's all. So that also doesn't really piss me off that much either. There's so many things that weddings that piss photographers off. I'm just not that guy. I don't let it faze me because I want to have fun. So I focus on the positives. So whenever there's a negative, I kind of just try to ignore it. I guess grumpy people get to me. That's a thing for me. Because I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to bring the vibes.
But this
I'm
is
trying
what
to be fun. I'm trying to be fun. And then let's say, for example, that has happened in the past where there's a grumpy bridesmaid or a grumpy groomsman. And that's just who they are. Resting bitch face is always on for them. So for me, I'm coming happy and like, hey guys, how's it going? And then they're like this. And I'm like,
I'm going to get that on camera. But it's such a long day as well, you know, like I know I've been pregnant. I've been bridesmaid 7 times. And let me tell you, on a summer's day when you're 7 months pregnant and you're a bridesmaid and you wake up at 4 a.m,
You don't want to be there.
Like, you know, you do want to be there, but you're like, you know, it's challenging. It is challenging. And people, you know, have, I guess, different challenges. But at the end of the day, everyone is there for the couple.
Yeah.
And the photographer's job and the cinematographer's job is to make sure that they're getting the best work for the couple.
Yeah, like I adapt my personality depending on which room I go in.
Yeah.
So sometimes, well, most of the time, I'm going to come in hot. I'm going to come in loud. I'm going to come in myself.
Yeah.
If I start to feel uncomfortable because I'm not being welcome, I'm going to turn it down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to realize, all right,
this room.
Yeah, this is not the room.
Yeah.
So usually I'm going to come in really loud. And I'm going to come in super vibey, hyped.
Yeah.
If my response is, hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it. I'm going to turn it down immediately. I'm like, how's everything going?
Yeah. Okay.
Are you feeling alright?
Yeah. You got to mirror your client.
Yeah. Where's your dress?
Yeah.
I'm going to go upstairs and spend some time in the room.
Yeah. Let me get a photo for you.
Here.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then other people are like, yeah, he's here. Shayben. Like it just depends on the person.
Yeah. No, and I love that, and I think that mirroring your client and understanding that is really what kind of energy you want to be able to present.
I've recently gotten heavily back into film photography.
Yeah.
I've always been into photography. My dad was a photographer before he was a policeman, or during when he was a cop. My dad was a photographer. He shot weddings. And he gave me his old Hasselblad 503 CX that he told me was broken. And this is a cool camera. It's like medium format, really big, clunky. And when you take a photo, it goes... And it's got this huge
that's so cool. And
wind.
what?
And he told me it was broken. I got to go get it fixed. So I went and got it fixed about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And the guy told me something was up with it, but he fixed it. But it might break again. And I was like, okay. So I took it. I tried to load it with film. I didn't know what I was doing about 3 or 4 years ago. And I stuffed it up. And then it didn't... I don't think it's stuffed up. I think you just got to take this silver thing out and it works.
Okay.
All of a sudden, a couple months ago, like 2-3 months ago, one of my friends is pregnant and she wants to do a maternity session with me at the beach. And I said, what if I shot the whole thing on film? And she goes, oh, I'd love that. Whatever you want to do. She gave me the creative freedom.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to shoot the whole thing on film. I don't want to shoot digital. So I went out and I went to my office and the camera was... I've had it on display for like 10 years and I saw it and I was like, I'm going to give it another go. Let's see if it works. Yeah. I'm not sure. So I took it. I went back to the shop and I was like, man, it doesn't work. You fixed it, but it doesn't work. Yeah. So then he put the film in for me as you do it like this and he took a photo and it worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So the whole time I've just
just
been an absolute idiot and I wasn't using it properly. He goes, yeah, you just take this and you do this and it works. So then I took it and I shot the whole thing. I'd love to show you the photos.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I shot the whole thing on this Hasselblad medium format camera. It looks incredible.
Oh, wow.
So I have fallen back in love with film photography now. I'm looking at all these old vintage cameras that I want and I've already got a couple of my photographers have film cameras.
I don't know anyone that has as many cameras as Shayben. I'm just going to put that out there.
I have a lot of camera gear. I have
a lot.
That's borderline my photographic obsession plus my hoarding. Yeah, I am a hoarder.
Great combination.
Yeah. Especially when the camera costs $4,500. It's lovely. But yeah, I started to collect film cameras now, and I'm still always looking on Facebook Marketplace for film and. I'm shooting all my personal photos on film now. So, yes, it is trending. One
piece of advice, final for couples today.
Let the photographer do his job. How's that? Is
That's
it a bit aggressive?
No, let the photographer do his job. And let me tell you, your website?
Siempre.com.au. That's a new website.
I know. Well, that's why I was like, oh, this is and I love the colour and I love that it changes and the couple stories.
Well, the idea with the colour was to introduce colour into weddings. Everybody goes with neutral. Everybody's beige and white and grey. And you know what? We're colourful people.
I'm not a beige person.
Okay.
I don't own it.
I'm wearing all black. But I always have some colour on me.
Yes.
And... the colour represents the personality that you get.
Yeah.
It's not colour. It's just the reason why I've introduced colour into the business is because we are crazy. We are fun.
Yeah.
And we are the fun people that you get.
You bring the wedding to life and it's the only thing at the end of the day that you walk away with that you can come back to at any time. And I say that, you know, with all of the trends of socials and everything that's happening online... in
Look,
10,
if you're
20,
going to
30
save money
years' time.
somewhere, don't do it on photo.
That's it. The photos for me is just, you know, and my kids, I'm sure yours, still go and say, oh, there's mum, there's dad, the dress, everything, you know. So I think it's just something that the film photography I'm so excited about, because I do love film photography, but also all of the social trends and everything that the amazing content creators are doing, the photography is what you're going to hold on to, and that's what's going to go up on the wall. So
yeah, the professional one.
Bring the vibes. Bring the vibes, the professional photography, and let's rock and roll.
Not the auntie's phone in the middle of the aisle.
Not with the iPad, which
we don't need it. You know what? Phones were getting smaller, and then now they started to grow again.
They are. But that's
they got a trifold phone now that come out of the weddings.
Well, I was just in Dubai for GITEX, which is the largest tech conference in the world, and I think there were 20,000 people there. I'm going to show you some of the stuff. They have drones that now they're anticipating will deliver product from Abu Dhabi to Dubai in 17 minutes.
Jeez.
In the sky.
Far out.
Yeah, like I said, in terms of the future of technology, we're going to see a continual evolution. Some things are going to come back. Other things are going to continue to evolve.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to photography and when it comes to weddings, that those photos really are basically what you're left with.
They last forever.
And that's forever. Siempre.
Siempre.
Thank you. All right, that was cool.
You're welcome.